Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Pick up your logo merchandise by heading over to abvnetwork.com, clicking on Shop, and start filling your basket today. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for something for yourself, a customized gift, or logoed items for your business gift shop, the Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. That's the number 2 in the Bar to Go. Don't forget our friends at Neely Family Distillery now ship their unique distilled spirits directly to you. To order yours, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
All right, everybody, welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today, we're going to be talking with Rob Beatty about a very special release from Castle & Key called The Untold Story. My name is Steve Akeley. Please join me in welcoming my special guest, Mr. Rob Beatty. Hey, Rob, how you doing, man?
Hey, good to see you again, Steve, man. Thanks for having us. Everything's well, man.
Yeah, good seeing you as well. I'm really excited about what you got going on here with Castle & Key. To me, it's really like unbelievable that you get a big corporate distillery like that and partnering with you, and obviously such a cool story, and they're doing some good work for charity too. So we'll talk about all that and what all that means, and we'll ask you how that came about and all that kind of cool stuff. We'll get to that stuff after the break. For right now, just tell us a little bit about the Black Bourbon Guild and what you got going on and how you got started and all that kind of stuff.
Well, man, we finally got live, so we're actually we're out of the pandemic stage. We're back more in person. So
yeah.
But to kind of, for the new people on the show, just to kind of tell you a little bit about where we came from. The show, the guild came from a tour that I had sponsored for about 5 or 6 people, and we went down to Bardstown, and we did a whole day. I mean, we did it. We did all the heritage distilleries, but we ended up at the Oscar Getz Museum.
Oh yeah.
And Oscar Getz, man, we were just kind of walking through, getting a tour, and I kept seeing speckles of African American people, enslaved people on the wall, but there was no tag, there was no history under that person, no name, no association. So, kind of pulled the curator to the side and said, "Hey, what's the story with the people on the wall that we don't have any information on?" She said that for you is for you to get your own research and do your own research to find out the part that they played. And I thought that was so strange. I'm like, everybody else has history, they have a name,
right? Yeah.
And there's no association. So I was bothered the whole way home by that. And so I went to a good friend of mine, Gates and Borden. Works for the visitation tourism department in Louisville, Lexington at the time. And man, he said, there's such a market to understand the African-American history. Let me refer you to a person by the name of Freddie Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, okay, where's he at? How do I get to him? He said, man, easy. I'm going to make a phone call, set up a tour conversation with you, Freddie Johnson. So I go to see Freddie Johnson. At the time, I didn't know Freddie, who he was, didn't know anything because I'm still new to the industry. And so I get in front of this man and man, I literally was unaware of who he was, but I became very aware that this man knew a lot about bourbon.
Oh yeah.
He was connected. So Freddie, through our conversation, gave us his blessing. And he said, man, you should start an organization that gives honor and to the past, and will continue to push the needle to grow the industry from a workforce and from a historical component. So from that conversation, man, I went and grabbed about eight of my close friends, different walks of life, and we formed a committee, a board, and we came up with the initiative and the mission, and that birthed the Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild. That was in the summer of 2018. So we knew that in a short amount of time we wanted to get launched, so we started our first meeting, tasting. We invited the city, so we had about 180 people and Freddie Johnson did our first.
Wow.
He did our soft launch.
It's like starting with the soft launch, starting to like the Super Bowl of whiskey tasting with Freddie there. So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that started that, man, and we had our official launch, and we did that with Uncle Nears.
Mm-hmm. So, and then on an ongoing basis, I mean, how active is your group? Are you guys you meeting regularly, and do you have events all the time? Tell us a little bit about how all that works.
Absolutely. So we're a membership organization. We have over 225 members. Actually, our membership is a paid membership. So the first year is $150. Second year is $100. We have a household membership, student membership. We meet monthly. So we have monthly tastings and we have monthly workshops. So this is the superpower of organizations that we have a college professor of bourbon, Tim Niddles from Distilled Living.
Sure.
And he comes in and does a curriculum course that we do 12 months. And so each class, there's a sensiology. So there's a tasting in each class. And then there's the historical component. So we're designed to take bourbon newbies to turn them into bourbon enthusiasts. So every class, they're learning how to nose, they're learning how to pair, they're learning how to taste, the palate training. So it's a pretty in-depth course, man. And there's 12 months of it. Every course is different. And then we do tastings with the brands. Last month we did a tasting with Uncle Nears last month. We tasted their new expressions. And our next tasting is going to be with what do we got coming up? We've got the Old Forester.
Old Fall. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Old Fall. Got them on the next one.
Very cool. So, and are you doing this full time now? I know you used to live in Lexington, but then you moved to Louisville, right? Is this your full time gig, or are you still doing something else?
Nah, man, it's very much my part time gig, man.
Very much. It takes up probably a lot of your time, doesn't it? Yeah. It
does. But man, when you're passionate about it, man, you don't have to get paid a dime, man. I'm passionate about what we're doing. The enthusiasm it comes from seeing people grow in their walk and their journey in bourbon, and so that's where the joy comes in, man. So we've already scholarshiped 3 students. One of our students that came through our scholarship through the Kentucky State distillation program, he now works for the Carter family.
Oh, nice! Yeah, that's cool.
So
that's a great organization, right? They make some great stuff. They're good people. Absolutely. Market share are awesome. Yeah,
absolutely. So we're excited about the efforts that we do, and the movement that we have, and so we're looking forward to opening a chapter in the Louisville market.
Yeah,
that's the first quarter of 2022. So
nice.
No, still part time, man.
Okay. It doesn't sound your trajectory though doesn't sound like it's going to be part time for long. You're building this thing up to be pretty big. So yeah. All right. What we're going to do next, Rob, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we want to talk about the Untold Story, Castle and Key, this partnership, how cool this is. We'll do that in just a few.
All right.
Hello, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, and I'm excited to announce a brand new partnership with Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Many of you have perhaps heard of Leatherwood via our co-host on the Bourbon Daily, Kaylee Baker, who works there. Well, they're now an official sponsor of the network, and we look forward to everyone getting to know a little bit more about them. Company founder Andrew Lang brought his brewing and distilling hobby with him during his years of service as a Green Beret in the United States Army. Whether he was at his home base of Fort Campbell or during tours of duty in places like Italy or Afghanistan, Lang distilled whatever was available to him locally. We are excited about getting to know Andrew Lang and his team better via our programming and are planning a trip down there for the ABV Network crew very soon. In the meantime, check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com, where they will ship bottles directly to you, including their special Remembering 9/11 series, which is raising money for military charities. Seriously, get out there, buy some bottles, help a good cause, and let us know what you think. We're really excited about this partnership. Hello, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, and let's talk for a moment about our sponsors, the people that make this show happen. First up is our friends at Moonshine University. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification at their office in Louisville. The information I learned through lead instructor Colin Blake and their team there is something that I continue to draw upon frequently in my role at the ABV Network. It truly is the standard of establishing a benchmark of knowledge of the bourbon industry. From history to production to brands and people, it's all there. Check out their full listing of programs, including Executive Bourbon Steward Certification, production classes if you're considering starting a distillery, and much more at moonshineuniversity.com. I also want to talk about Neely Family Distillery. Back in May of 2018, I met Royce Neely at Limestone Branch's Craft Bourbon Festival. It ended up not only being the start of a great friendship, I started to truly learn about what makes craft whiskey so amazing. You see, I had been a bourbon drinker for over 30 years at that point, and like many people who had been drinking bourbon a long time, I was hard-coded into thinking big bourbon was where it was at and craft was on a journey to get there. Spending time with Royce and learning the things he does to make his whiskey taste better started to really get me to appreciate how things like sweet mashing, open top fermentation, pot distillation, and the grains you are using not only makes your product taste better coming off the still, but also out of the barrel as well. I still love heritage brands and they make up a bulk of my collection. But when you find a craft distiller that is truly dedicated to the craft of distilling, you are drinking some of the best whiskey out there on the market today. That's exactly what's happening at Neely Family Distillery today. Check them out on the web at neelyfamilydistillery.com, or better yet, stop by and see them at their distillery in Sparta, Kentucky. And now, back to the show.
I'm MacLeod. Don't mix your grain and grapes. Not a good time. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm here with Rob Beatty of the Black Bourbon Guild, and we're talking about the untold story from Castle and Key and this unique partnership that you guys have. So first of all, just tell us a little bit about the Untold Story release, this whiskey, what it is, and then, kind of get into how all this came about, this relationship between you and Castle and Key.
Absolutely. Castle and Key relationship began in the very beginning of the Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild. They were one of the first brands that we did a tasting with, but at that time they didn't have bourbon. They just had their vodka and they had their gin. So we did a collaboration with them, with Weta Michaels, and they had an event at Weta Michaels Spot in Lexington. So right off the bat, we learned that Castle and Key was similar to the Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild because Castle and Key was just really getting started.
Yeah.
And at that time, again, they didn't have any bourbon to release, but they had a mission, and their mission was to bring inclusivity to the industry. And they did that by bringing the first female master distiller since Prohibition. So we seen it right off the bat that they were very intentional about inclusivity and diversity. So we formed a partnership right off the bat. They've been sponsors of some of our events that we've done. We did a cigar event in Lexington with the with the Soul Food Week. So we've had a good partnership from the top. And the idea came up a year and a half ago. We've literally been working on this for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. So Castle and Key brought it to us. They had this idea of putting a special release together that honored the African American contribution. They wanted to do it exclusively with the Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild based on our mission and the direction that we was going. And man, from that point, we started to, just kind of kick it around and get the ideas, constant meetings about it. And so it started to come into formation, man. When we start seeing, the bottle and started seeing the labels and start seeing Castle and Key, because their marketing department, man, is second to none. As you can see with their new releases of their new bottles.
Oh yeah, bottles are beautiful, aren't they? Yeah, really good looking branding. Yeah.
They've got some of the best looking models on the market, man.
The cork too could be a weapon if needed. I mean, those things are
It is.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is. Yeah. it's got metal on it, so it's tough. But their bottle is exemplary to the type of organization that they are, man. And from from a community aspect, they're definitely launching themselves into the community and getting involved, and they selected us as their partner. So we're we're honored to be a part of it, man, with them.
So does this go back to, like, for you, that first time you were at Oscar Getz Museum and you see pictures of African Americans that are involved in the whiskey industry, but there's no information about it. There's no names. There's not any history there. And you ask a question and they're like, that's for you to research. With these, you're starting to tell those stories, right? With the releases of the Untold Stories. Am I right with exactly what you're trying to do with each of these releases that are coming up? That's
the hints there, that the person that told me that I needed to do my research really lit a flame in me that said, we're going to find these stories. And we've got countless projects that we're working on now, Steve, that is showing that the African-American contribution was just, it was an untold story.
I agree.
When you're talking about, George Washington owning 8 distilleries, I mean, that's an untold story. That, it takes people like Michael Beach and, different historians out there that are, finally, releasing the information through, extensive research. But we have our own historian who has access to Brown-Forman's archives, who has access to Buffalo Trace's archives. And so we have our archives now where she's able to she's working to put a story together. And so when it's all said and done, we're looking at oral documentaries. We're looking at, we've got some projects that'll be out there that will now tell the story.
So is this from Kentucky State University, Dr. Erin Williams Gilliam? Is that the person you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Erin Gilliam. Yeah. She's our historian.
So she's kind of doing all the research and things like that. And so this is going to be, over time, this is really going to start putting all that story together then. And it won't be the untold story, but the idea is you're coming out releasing this as the untold story, but hopefully by the time you get to the end of this project, it'll be told at that point, right?
It's going to be told. And we know from the Open Ears, project that, that's just one story, but there's, and that's why we're labeling it as Untold Stories, but it is definitely going to be told. And, and this may be one of your questions, but one of the things that will satisfy me is when we can rewrite the history books.
Yeah.
We can rewrite the school books that adds in the agricultural side that we played, that adds in the master distillers that we had. Some of the African secrets that were brought over that allowed distillers to do a unique process like charcoal filtration and those type of things that are still, still grainy,
right?
Still not clear. Those stories are told, and they're told with boldness. And again, it's not just Black history; it's American history. So we're looking to honor the contributions of the past, and of course those that are coming. And now you see more movement in the industry where you have the African American distiller or brands that are coming out, and so you just see the movement. And so we're just honoring it. But when you go to Buffalo Trace, man, and I know it's not just African American history. It's Irish history. It's German history. It's Indian history. There's so many. When you look at that picture on that wall at Buffalo Trace, man, it depicts that this is American history. But there's so many different immigrants that play parts in this, and we're just kind of starting the momentum. And we have a Jewish American historian on our organization too, that's working on some things at the University of Kentucky. Dr. Janice Fernheimer, she's working on some things. So man, it's just a movement that's just beginning, man. It's only beginning.
Yeah, and Castle and Key seems to be such a great partner here, because not only are they releasing the whiskey, but it looks like they got some partnerships too to get the bottles covered, the labels covered. So that means there's more money that can go to the charitable efforts. And this actually goes to a scholarship funds that promotes diversity in the business. So tell us a little bit about the scholarship and what will happen with the money raised from the sale of these bottles.
Absolutely. So there's two parts to this. We have a bottle release on the November the 13th.
Yep.
And Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild is actually hosting the event. And so that event is $85. And that ticket is going into, the ticket proceeds is going into the Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild Scholarship Fund.
Yep.
The bottle sales from the proceeds from the bottle sales are going to go into the Castle Key Minority Scholarship Fund that is promoting diversity and inclusivity in the industry. And they actually honored us with a board seat on that committee. So not only are we going to be partners in, in this chapter 1 through 5 bottle, but we're also going to have some stake in and say in where the actual scholarships and who will receive the scholarship. So it's an all-in partnership, man. It's actually, it's an honor. It's an honor to be a part of it.
I guess. So, where can they buy the bottles? Is this a distillery only release, or is it going to be available, in the liquor stores in, Louisville or all across Kentucky, or further distribution than that? So tell us a little bit about where you can pick these up at.
Man, this is going to be a bottle release. So those who obtain a ticket, they will be able to order up to 6 bottles per family.
Okay.
And that on November the 13th, they walk home with the bottle. From that point, Castle and Key, depending on how many bottles is left, we know that there's been several orders from some of our institutional partners, and so depending on how many bottles is left, it will be sold at the distillery. But it will not hit shelves.
Okay, gotcha.
So
that's
it will
kind
not
of
be
what I
on
thought.
the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us
it's going to be a quick release, and it's going to be a private, a public release after our release, and just depending on how many sell at our event.
All right. If I show up at Rob Beatty's house, how many bottles are you going to have? Are you going to be picking up a bunch? I'd pick up a bunch if I was you.
Man, Steve, you ain't gonna have to worry about getting a bottle, man. I want to put it right back there on your.
Oh yeah, right behind me here. Yes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You don't have to worry about that. I got you covered.
So tell me a little bit about the November 13th event. Is like where it's going to be at and all that things. And of course, how people can get a ticket if they're interested in going, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So we have several partners that are involved with this event, man. We have a partnership with Base Here, which is a collaborative workspace group out of Lexington, Kentucky. We're going to have this release at Base 249, which is downtown Main Street, Lexington, Kentucky. Tim Guthrie and his group have opened their doors up to us for their beautiful workspace. So we're going to have the event there. The mayor's going to be there. We've got invites out to the governors, councilmen, media. So it's going to be, a shindig. It's a brunch. So we're going to have brunch served to our attendees. But every ticket holder gets to taste the actual release. So they're going to get to taste and do a toast with us for the release. It also includes one drink ticket, which will be a Castle and Key fall special. So something that they have, that they've curated for the fall. And the ticket holders will have the opportunity to buy up to 6 bottles and take those home with them. So we've got, the partnership with Castle and Key. We've got a partnership with Base 249. And we have a partnership with Black Soil. So Black Soil is the Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild in the Black Farmer realm. So she has Ashley Smith has a collaboration with all the Black farmers in the area. So we get to use their produce for our brunch. We get to use their meats for our brunch. So Ashley Smith is another partner that we work very closely with Black Soil. So those are, and then of course Aaron Gilliam will be there. Our historian wrote the content. So we're gonna have a release party, man. It's gonna be a celebration. It's the beginning of a long endeavor with Castle and Key, but it's the first of its kind, Steve. This is yet to be done. A bottle that is dedicated to the contributions of African Americans. So man, we are just totally excited about this project. I'm losing some sleep at night, man, thinking about this thing. But it's a milestone because as I said earlier, I was told, go do your research. So now, 3 years later, close to the date, I've done my research. Now we've got others doing research.
Yeah.
And now we're digging and digging, and we're getting these stories so that we can get them. We can get these stories out there, man, to honor those. We've got another project that we're going to be working on with Bluegrass Distillers out of Lexington. They're moving into a large property over in Midway. Man, it is nothing but history there, man. So we've got next year lined out for us, man. So we're already working on a big event for Black History Month with the Louisville Thoroughbred Society in Louisville. So it's got a lot going on, man. So this event's is the beginning, but it is a milestone for us.
Very cool. Well, I'm a big fan of what you do, and you and I don't get to hang out like we should, but we need to do that. We need to work on that. But I watch, what you're doing and really admire all the great things that you got going on, and appreciate that. And if people want to follow the journey, is there anything you want to share? Social media, website, anything like that? Because I think I want to get involved.
Okay. Yeah. You can follow us. Our website is the Kentucky Black Bourbon. It's KentuckyBlackBourbonGuild.com. Facebook, we are Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild. Instagram, Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild. We are, our email is KentuckyBlackBourbonGuild@gmail.com. So you can access us any of those handles. We're open for any kind of partnerships or just any conversation about what we're doing. Feel free to email us, and then we'll definitely get back to you on it.
Sounds good. All right. Yeah. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. Just like Rob here. I like the consistency. So I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got that company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. All of our previous shows, we've had Rob on before. You can search that on our website, and you can listen to that original interview with him. So just check us out at abvnetwork.com. Also, if you want to get involved in our show, head over to patreon.com/the ABV Network. That would be fantastic. You can get involved in our programming, all that kind of good stuff. Come to our events. We certainly would appreciate that. And give us a 5-star review if you like what we're doing. That helps new people find the show. That's pretty important to us. Rob, thanks so much for joining me today, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. One more thing to you, man. Congratulations on your book, man.
Thank you.
Exciting. That's a milestone for you as well, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's been an incredible gift. The fact that the fans of what we do bought that, immediately turned it into #1 bestseller, and I'm really proud of it. And I also am enjoying seeing people going out and using the book for what it's intended to go out and create bourbon adventures and get out there and travel, and then also get out and support these great businesses. Small businesses continue to struggle, and I'm directing you to them. I'm going off some of the things I got are on the bourbon trail, but there's other things that are off there, and they're helping small business. So it's a cool thing, Rob. So I appreciate that. Man.
Absolutely.
For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
See you later. Thanks, man.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's chat for a moment about Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you just want to experiment on a small scale on the stove in your kitchen or try your hand at a bigger setup in the backyard, Moonshine Still Pro can help. They have different still offerings as well as accessories and even grains from Goldstone Mill to help you make whiskey on par with what you get from your favorite distillery. They can even assist with a DIY still project by supplying some of the parts you can't make yourself. Check them out at moonshinestillpro.com. At the ABV Network, we're lucky enough to have some great friends. Amongst those friends is the Goldstein family, owners of Goldstone Mill. Goldstone Mill is a full-service mill offering a variety of heritage and heirloom grains. Their unique approach of working with mills around the country allows them to offer you affordable shipping opportunities to meet the unique needs of your distillery or brewery. They will consult with you to ensure the grains you are selecting meets the unique flavor profiles you are looking for. If you are a home brewer or distiller and you're looking for the grains that your local distillery or brewery uses, Goldstone Mill is the place to look. Check them out on the web at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or shoot them an email at hello@goldstonemill.com.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.